What's going on, everyone?
You needed to update the music. Steel City, what was wrong with you? You missed it.
What do you mean?
Lizzo, come on.
You would get DMCA'd so fast if you tried to use Lizzo for that.
Do it.
DP, you know as well as I did, we'd get DMCA'd in like 2 seconds.
Not if you did it dark trooper style.
Oh yeah, like the
Nah, they'd be here for a check.
All right. hey, internet, how you doing? We're breaking you tonight.
Who cares about copyright law? Hi, everybody.
All right, yeah, it's all right. But welcome to another episode of Carbonite Bounty BS, and I guess we spoiled one of the big, A-list. I don't know, A-listers. We'll call her. I don't know.
A-lister. Yeah. We had like at least 5 A-listers.
Yeah, we had some names in here. So before we even get into this episode, let's let our guy DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com, people, your favorite website where you get all your favorite social media handles from us at Nerdcyclopedia. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also on TikTok now. All right. Watch us on YouTube, because there we are. We thank you for watching us. So hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification button. So anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. If you're watching us on Facebook, thank you as well. Join our Carbonite Bounty BS, a Star Wars group, where you get all your favorite memes and all your favorite input on everything Star Wars. If you're listening to us on podcasts, we are on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. And of course, leave us some email and some feedback. nerds@nerdcyclopedia.com. We love getting your feedback and also chatting with you. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We all
guys, we do. Another solid episode. Where I guess we're on the back half, so two left after this one. But
is it 2 left? Guys. Oh man, that is awful.
Well, like I said, don't hold your grapes.
They're releasing the last 2 at the same time, I think.
No.
I read that somewhere.
No, they better.
I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah, look it up. But
that would just be awful if next week is the last week of this whole thing.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I guess I'll lead with my initial opinion because I'm sure it's going to be different than you guys. In one facet, I really like the episode. My only gripe is, and DP just alluded to it, right? I didn't want another quest within a quest, meaning we knew she had to get the Mandalorians back. We didn't need to have to solve a mystery. I don't feel like in this episode. I felt like that 30 minutes kind of could have been used elsewhere. And the only reason I say that is because we only have 2 left. So for us to be deprived of this show for for 2 years, and then I just felt like that I would rather spend that time, elsewhere. It was a good episode. It's not a bad thing, but personally, with only 2 left, I just felt that 30-minute kind of side quest could have been used elsewhere and could have developed the story more. It kind of does suck, I guess, that we have 2 left after this. Don't know how long they'll be, but definitely still a great episode. But yeah, the side quest thing is just that was the only thing I was kind of I wish I want more. But great ending as always. If anything with these shows, they definitely know how to end the episodes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, that's about it. Great episode, but I just wasn't a big fan of the giant side quest. We'll start with you, DP.
I'm a fan of the side quest. I love seeing, I love the whole Din and, Bo-Katan team up. I mean, I'm in the bag for that and everything. We, didn't see a lot of Grogu and everything, but, we did get the Grogu jump and stuff. That just had me just dying. I was like, what is he doing? Oh man, Lizzo sits up there and and he just jumps into her arms and everything. I was like, okay, that was meant to get a laugh, and it got a laugh out of me and everything. I'm here for everything Mandalorian, T Mitch. I'm in a bag for it. I like all the side quests. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, to me, it was a great Law and Order type detective episode. They were trying to figure things out, trying to solve like an issue and a problem and everything. It was a good investigation type of thing, which gave me those type of vibes and feels and stuff. I mean,
but you want that like 2 or 3 before though. I mean, we're headed to Mandalore now. Like, I just feel like there's not enough. Once again, there's not enough time.
Well, yeah. So the thing that
time.
These things come up with, and what we're going to probably hit up against with these last couple episodes, unfortunately, is that they have too much story to tell for so little episodes. If this is supposed to lead in Ahsoka, okay, maybe you could continue some of that in there, but I would hate for Ahsoka to pick up a bag for her first series, for her first ever, series on screen and everything, to just have to pick up a storyline from Mandalorian and everything. I don't want that. Like, have her, do her own thing and everything, and then, maybe later down the line pick up bits to make this whole thing a, big whole, because they already preface it. Skeleton Key, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian, and I think a little bit of Boba Fett is supposed to lead up to this big event thing. They already prefaced that and everything, so I'm good with that. But they try to do a lot with Mandalorian this season. Unfortunately for some, it's sort of sidelined, our heroes, Din and Grogu and everything, and sort of put to the forefront, Mandalore, everything as far as Mandalorian lore and everything. So I'm in the bag for that. It may not be for other people, but I really like this episode, and I like the team up that Din and Bo-Katan have with what they're doing.
Right. What about you, Hitch?
I really like this episode a lot, and I think DP, you said it best. It very much reminded me of an episode of Law and Order. It had all the tropes from the questioning the bartender and being like, it would be a shame if all the cops suddenly came in here every 15 minutes, and the bartender being like, what do you want me to do about it? So very much Law and Ordery. I got a big NCIS vibe, and maybe this is just because I'm outing myself as an old man that I watch NCIS.
Shout out to Mark Harmon.
He's watching CBS, guys. He's a part of the NCIS.
The Law and Order call out. It makes you an old man. The NCIS, that was later. Law and Order was first.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
It's forever.
I watch Law and Order.
Are we calling Bo-Katan Olivia Benson then? Is that the?
Like, are we getting that? Dun dun dun. Each scene.
That's what they could do on the Mandalorian, except it's just lightsaber. So I enjoyed that. I loved when they pulled that battle droid out of like the out of like the freezer. Like, why would you need to put a droid in a freezer? It's not gonna it's not like a body. It doesn't rot. It just sits there. You know what I mean? Like my computer, when it's broken, I don't bury it.
A freezer. That was just a shelf.
Just a shelf that pulled out.
Yeah.
Like they were doing an autopsy on the thing. I really enjoyed that whole thing, and I really liked how they inverted our expectations with the robot. Like, there was supposed to be a robot uprising. It felt like that's where they were going, and then they were like, the robots were like, no, why would we do that? That would be a waste of our time. It would piss everyone off. Like, you know what I mean? It was just real funny. I like the Ugnaught speech. Everything about this episode was cool. I really liked the cameos. I mean,
the cameos were cool.
So good. Lizzo is really, really talented, and Jack Black being some, revanchist ex-imperial officer that has weaseled his way into being in charge of a planet somehow is really funny. And I think that character pays off a lot of the work they set up earlier in Coruscant when they were following the Doctor around. So nice little payoff to me. I really enjoyed the episode a lot. I understand that there's not a lot of time left, but part of having like 30 episodes of Star Wars TV in a year is that you're right. There's only a couple episodes left here, but plenty of Star Wars left to come. So I'm willing to be luxurious. And again, like I said, when we started this show, I want to see some weird stuff. And this episode certainly showed me some weird stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Ken?
I hated it.
That's not a Ken out of Ken.
You'll never get that. You'll never get that from him.
It was just terrible. You know, I hated that Disney used this as a marketing tool for Tron Light Cycle Run. I hated that they used it as a marketing tool for Tomorrowland. I didn't like at all that they used basically every old droid that we knew and were familiar with from the original trilogy and threw them in here as cast-offs. Like the humans were now using the droids, and who the hell on the payroll is a Ridley Scott fan? Because I'm about tired of all this Blade Runner shit. Sorry. Because that's what we had here. We had Blade Runner, right? So robots have gone rogue. We need to hire humans who are really good at their job. Blade Runner. And you have to go and seek them out and destroy them. Now, actually, I love this episode. It was great. I mean, my hat off to whoever did this, because this was probably a combination of Dallas Howard, who directed it, and she's great, and because her father, Ron Howard, is also a great director and knows how to tell a story. This is what I was looking for from this whole season, because this is the point. The Armorer told us so all you had to see was last 5 minutes of episode 5 or 6, 5, sorry, and this episode, and you've really got the story, because what we're doing is bringing balance to Mandalore. We're bringing balance back to the Mandalorian. We're bringing everything back, because what can she do? She can walk without her helmet, and she walks both paths. And that's the important point of this whole thing, is that she's Anakin. So I hope she doesn't go bad. I hope she doesn't get that dark saber back and she's like, now I'm gonna wreak a little havoc because I've been stepped on. But this episode to me really put it all together. It put together a lot of pieces. It plugged in a lot of wires that needed to be plugged in, and it put things in place and in the correct path. So now we have lots more story, and I don't know where they're going to go. DP could be Ahsoka, T. Mitch. It could be a redo of the trilogy. I mean,
I think it'll be Ahsoka.
Going on here.
I think they'll tie it into Ahsoka, because as we see the Mandalorians coming in, kind of Sabine-ish, there's going to be something that ties in. Maybe not directly, but there'll be. I mean, we've already seen.
And I didn't mind that Din was a little bit in the background, because
no, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he came forward as a presenter, and at the end, and I liked his spin on the whole thing. I liked his spin on, I got beat, the darksaber was taken from me, and Bo-Katan Kryze brought it back and saved me, and that was alarming to me, because I should have thought of that. That should have been my idea. I should have thought of that. I should have thought, how is he going to spin it so that she gets the darksaber back with value? I mean, this. Plus, there were call outs through the whole thing. I mean, we even got a little bit of Alice in Wonderland when they were playing, in Alice in Wonderland, they played cricket, right? So Lizzo and Jack Black were playing pillbug cricket, whatever it was. I mean, they were calling out to nerds everywhere. No matter what your love was, there was something in this episode for you. I mean, we could go back to the future, but we don't have to.
We did go back to the future.
Great Scott. We did go back to the future, didn't we? And now we don't even know what timeline we're in now.
Oh, yeah.
We're probably in one of them. One of many, right?
So let's try and tear this episode down. So we started with Valentine's Day. So let's
Yeah,
go
what
with
was that all about? I mean, I understand the Quarren and the Mon Calamari occupy the same planet and have been, special enemies for the entirety of their existence.
Yep.
It the idea that all the cool tech the Quarrens have on their ship was really awesome. I really liked and appreciated that like water tank they keep the captain in, and feed you a fresh fish every now and then to really, keep you
Shoots 'em
going.
up. Yep.
I really like that. I'm the love story thing is sort of silly because like they had like it was played for almost comedic effect. The Quarren tentacles kind of reaching out.
That was a little creepy.
It was creepy, but it was an affectionate moment.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
it was a moment, and that's what we had with Han and Leia in the Falcon in Empire Strikes Back. We always had these weird, awkward moments, and they were really calling out to that. They were calling out to the old school awkwardness because it was.
Where with Andor, we hardly got any alien,
None.
species or whatever. This was Star Wars, like all the way. Every type, you got in there. They used their budget. I tell you that for sure. They used their budget with this. Even with the return of the droids, the Clone Wars droids and everything. I like that.
Yeah.
Like them coming back with that, and then testing each of them out. Okay, I know one of you guys are faulty and everything. And then I was like, okay, why is this droid just running and just the droids they do have some sort of sentience about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they have to and everything. But I like the fact that they brought the when they was interrogating the one at the bar and everything, he put the point of well, we're afraid that they're gonna disengage us or whatever, depower us or whatever the term is, and replace us with humans. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, and they were looking, and that was totally Mos Eisley, right? Because what happened? Now it's humans walking into a droid cantina,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't serve their kind here. No, they didn't do that, did they?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Cool, my headset was acting up.
No,
You're cutting out. Good.
Welcome back.
Well, it's probably
Thank
that T-shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, you stole my bet. You stole my bet, teammate.
It's in the wrong panel,
So the humans walk into the droid bar. Are they told to get out? No, there's no racism. They don't care.
There's no droidism.
No droidism. Okay.
Nobody's being called a meatbag or anything.
No, they weren't being like ridiculed. They just, they all stopped what they were doing. But that was a great scene because now we have a spark pad. It's like a book of matches, right? That you would get from a bar, and that was totally like old school detective shit right there, right? I mean, they were like really digging down into the archives of what detective stories are, and I really like the cops. The cops are great because
that was decent. The way they just came out of nowhere for the most part, and had their
thing back. Thank you.
Yeah, and put up the sticker, the yellow tape.
Right. The do not cross line was just like a hologram.
Yeah.
Totally Blade Runner. And
This
again,
place is a very
who loves Ridley Scott in this room? Who
really-
loves that guy?
it really felt like they were trying to talk about the Disney monorail a lot at the beginning of this episode.
Yes.
And I got a lot.
Yep.
And Tron Tron Light Cycle.
It felt very much Epcot centery. Like, if Star Wars, like if what they have now is like the Magic Kingdom of the Star Wars parks, there will eventually be an Epcot where you can go to all these different worlds where you can do like Tatooine and this place and Navarro and everything.
Yep.
And this was the fun one.
And who's this Kathleen Kennedy that's like seems to be in charge of everything?
No, don't do that tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight.
You promised to not do it once.
Not tonight. You're giving Kathleen Kennedy credit for this?
Yes.
All right. Wow. You're probably the only person in Star Wars that He's giving her credit. I'm just letting you know.
I don't know. She spearheaded the whole purchase. She signed. She signed it.
Bob Iger.
She's technically in charge, now. So
she's yes. She is in charge of storyline.
Yeah, Bob Iger settled that.
But yeah, this was an awesome episode. I just love the whole feeling, the vibe, and like we're seeing like the other Mandalorians and everything, in Bo-Katan's old set, come together and everything. He had to do the duel, with the one that was taken over and everything to try
to wolves.
Yeah, to try to prove their leadership and stuff. And I can't wait for everybody to come together. Just like, okay, maybe we'll get some helmets off of like, the way people, versus like, the other, sect and stuff and everything. I mean, I just want to see I just want to see Mandalorians just hugging.
You want to see the armor with her helmet off, don't you?
I want to see Emily Swallow now, I want to see her do her thing, But yeah, it was a great, solid, fast-paced moving episode and everything.
It was, yeah.
It moved right along, 52 minutes. It wasn't short. I'm glad about that. And It moved the pacing along. Say what you will about like how Bo-Katan got the Darksaber and everything. I think Katie Sackhoff has held her own throughout all these episodes, so far this season. I mean, they focus more on her than Jordan and everything. But throughout the season, which I'm fine because she is a Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm. It pays, the name pays off the character.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, as you said.
Yeah. Yep. And like, like we were saying offline in our chats and everything, it's really been a good, this has been a good season so far,
For sure.
Only downside is that it's only a couple episodes left.
Did the armor have some like what? How did she give Bo-Katan that privilege? Like she told her she could walk both paths.
Because she's seen the mythosaur, and allegedly Mandalorian
and she does believe her. She believes her, right?
Mandalorians don't lie, so that's one of their things. When they speak of these like prophecies, you don't bring the prophecy up unless you've seen it. It's one of those like unknown kind of like unspoken things. You don't talk about the mythosaur unless you've seen it. So.
Okay, so that's it. So Din did not see it when he was sucked under.
Yeah. Well, he fell and somehow he was concussed. And and then when she pulled him up, he was still out. So that was like the whole when she kind of caught it in the, I guess because she was facing it, so she's seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we going to get some sort of like kaiju moment or whatever, and we're going to see like a piece at the end?
I don't know. I mean, we got 2 episodes. I mean, we still have Moff Gideon.
It was we still haven't seen Moff Gideon all season yet.
That's what I'm telling you. We have 2 episodes. That's my only gripe about this episode. I could have used it a little earlier because of what's left. And IK, you can leave that. So are we going to do Mandalorian season 4 still at Mandalore? Because to be honest, it's a great season. But if we finish this whole Mandalore chapter at 8, I'm not going to be like extra. I'm not going to be disappointed, but I'm not going to be happy with it because I just feel there's so much more. We waited this long for this, and for 2 episodes to defeat Gideon, or he gets away again, or something.
We don't even know what state he's in because they took his ship.
Well, no, remember he gave him the ship. He gave him the ship after they rescued him. That was like part of the payment.
Oh, that was the payoff
for the hire. Yeah, they're for hire. That was Gideon's cruiser.
I think I see where you're. It's your disappointment, T. Mitch, is that we wait for these episodes and seasons so long in between and everything. It's like you got to pay it off and everything. Pay it off within the episode's amount given, and like Andor did. One complete, beginning, middle, and end. We know it's still more, but it told the story very effectively. Through those, was it 13 episodes or 12 episodes or something like that?
Yeah.
We're not getting another Mandalorian season probably till like 2025. Which will be a doggone shame.
This is like we discussed. I think it's just 2 episodes short. Just 2. They don't got to be long, like 12. But I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
too short.
yeah. We always say that with these type.
I feel like if you want to have this much, if you want to give Lizzo cuddling Grogu this much screen time, 10 is a better number.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was
To really fit that in.
Because that was a little bit wasted there. But
that's what I was saying. That half hour, like it was good and it was cool, but based on 8 episodes and what we have to finish, because if we do talk about the Ahsoka thing, I mean that really like opens the whole universe up to like, you know what I mean? It kind of just muddies the water a little bit, I think. But all in all, great show. I'm still happy with it. I know we discussed this, but I'm not disappointed with Chekhov's Darksaber. I mean, because to be honest, it's a weapon, right? So I'm glad they kind of paid it off. And the way they paid off, they just slid it in there. He was sly with it the way he gave it to her. Like, let's not spend this big argument about he has to fight her to get this. Just give it back to her, right? Just give it to her. It's hers. You can't wield it, obviously, because you keep stumbling with it. So
I mean, if we're going to be hung up on, okay, well, the Lord said they got to fight, and everything. That's just you're being too caught up into, I guess, canon or whatever,
Right.
Even though
that's not respect. It has to be respect.
And we discussed it though. There's not enough time for them to fight over it, so they did it perfectly.
Yeah.
No, trust me. She definitely defeated the thing that defeated me. Here you go. What, you want us to have a duel? We don't have to. I've got a workaround for that.
And how about that battle? I've never seen a jetpack used as a weapon.
With the Mortal Kombat reference in the Liu Kang, the flying kick, we had the flying, the flying chest press.
That was great. Yeah. That was great. And you think about this jetpack, we just think about it like, I'd like to have one because I'd like to fly. No, I'd like to have one because I'd like to body block somebody. I mean, that was.
I mean, you could use this thing, while running and chasing, a droid and everything.
Yeah, and that's how she got ahead of him.
Yeah. She, and then just jumped ahead of him. I'm like, okay, hey, you could just use this on any type of.
In life, it's called double tapping.
She's the one. She's the one to rule them all. Yeah. She's the ring.
Yeah.
Right.
You just double tap A if you want to use your jetpack in life.
Oh, is that it?
You just double tap A.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Double tap A.
Tap A up, right?
Yep.
Or forward.
Yeah. That's it.
Let's talk about Din for a sec. Okay, I know we're not on our Din and Grogu with the Western type of thing, but how much story does Din really have? How much character does Din really have?
He doesn't have a character really. I mean, they've kind of just paid the final piece off at that battle. You're not Mandalorian blood, right? So we know that his family was killed. He was rescued by them, and he's just been a bounty hunter. He hasn't even really walked away, right? Because he said that after he got of age and the Mandalore was no longer, they all spread apart. So as far as backstory, we've kind of paid Din off. So like you're saying, he really is like just a character in the whole universe anymore. We've already went through it. Now, will he have a big part to play? Yes, because he's the main character. But I mean, I don't think we have to do this like, I don't know, this whole exposure or exposition of Din Djarin, anymore. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see more of the Bo-Katan, more of the traditional. We'd like to see the armorer, right? More of the armorer. And her back. I'd like to see her back.
See the armor without her helmet.
Right. Because, I was reading online, those horns on her helmet, there's a meaning to that. And it's whether she was a follower of when Darth Maul had the Darksaber or not, but those horns have a meaning to her Mandalorian helmet as to why she's the only one with them. So I'd like to get a backstory of her, obviously. Hopefully at season 4.
And how about Grogu getting knighted to the
Tomorrowland
Tomorrowland ambassador.
Tomorrowland Mall Cop Security Force.
Yeah. So he is now in charge of emptying trash cans and making sure no one carries a firearm into Tomorrowland.
You may use the royal golf cart to go from place to place.
Yeah, you may ride the people mover.
Well, wasn't that whole opening scene? Was that not a call out to Tomorrowland and Tron Light Cycle Run? Come on. Come on. And even in the Resistor, the bar, there was a protocol droid that was all blue, like blue neon. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy was totally using this episode as a marketing tool to get everyone to come back to Disney and spend their money, and it was.
Was Grogu in that final sequence with the Mandalorians on the when they went back to
he's floating there. Yeah.
Okay,
he was back there.
Okay.
They didn't forget about him.
Yeah, I mean, I half
Yeah, he was
expected
fine.
Grogu to stay with Lizzo and Jack Black.
No,
He was
no,
real.
that would be terrible.
He-
That'd be terrible because that would be like Rock School 2, School of Rock 2. And Grogu would be like playing Bassoon or
Oh
something.
man, classic movie.
And Jack Black, of all the people that act in any Star Wars anything, Jack Black is the biggest fan ever.
Oh, Star Wars.
Like for real. And he has been, anything he talks about, he always references Star Wars. And for him to finally now be in it, that's got to be a huge bucket list for him.
Yeah, once you get indoctrinated into this universe and everything, you're or inducted, I should say, more or less. You're there. I mean, they can use you, almost any time or whatever,
Any way they want.
stuff, any way that they want and stuff.
It's crazy that I was reading about these cameos, right? Because I was like looking up, like, obviously there's a ton of like people that were stormtroopers, but I didn't know that the late great Michael Jackson was supposed to be Jar Jar Binks.
Really?
Yeah, he was supposed to, so that he didn't get the part because they thought the character would overshadow. He would overshadow what Jar Jar Binks was. I didn't know it, but yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't because of anything to do with the fact that they cast a 10-year-old in the movie. I'm sure it was just that he would have been too big a story to be Jar Jar Binks.
And what did Mando? What did this feel like? This whole season, what did it feel like?
I asked him. I said, "What's it feel like?" And then I'll tell you, when we get comments, sometimes they just pop up on the screen. There's not much we can do about it. So Derpy wants to tell us what he thinks, what they think Mando has been like all season. We're waiting on the second part of the comment to address that.
Well, another call out that the bartender at the Resistor, that was Howard's husband played that character.
Oh yeah,
Seth Garble is his name, and he a big fan, had to be in there some way. And if I'm married to Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's directing an episode of Mandalorian, I'm like, put me in, coach. I'll do whatever you want. I'll be the stormtrooper that falls off the platform and dies. I don't care.
Yeah, that was what was his name? The guy from Craig from James Bond.
Daniel Craig, yeah, he was a stormtrooper.
Craig.
Yeah, he was a stormtrooper.
Yep. Anybody has power and fame of some sort wants to be in this series.
Yeah.
Why the hell am I not in Star Wars anymore?
Hey, you will be at some point.
You will be.
I won't be. I'll be dead by the time
with this Kathleen Kennedy love, man, you'll be in there.
Yeah, I'll get her email address. I'll be like,
you might get a press pass to celebrations with this.
Ooh.
I got to get something because
just for
I'm too much into this. Like, this is the best thing ever. Like, Star Wars is just awesome.
It's life for you guys and everything, and I can see why. It has a lot of appeal. A lot of vast storytelling and everything. Yeah, this season has been like, it's been kind of like all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. It's been some side stuff and everything that hasn't been solely focused on like the main two characters and everything. But is that such a bad thing when you talk about like universal storytelling and everything? I repeat it before, I'll say it again. You can only have so much with the way they developed Din. You only have so much character development with him,
Right.
Either they got bored with his story because they could have, went back to his childhood. With us letting us know how he got to be
family, his
his
upbringing,
family and everything. How he got to be a Mandalorian. Go into more of that, flashbacks and everything. But they chose not to do that. I think Filoni specifically wanted to continue telling the Mandalorian type story with elements that he brought from the animated stuff, which I'm okay with. I think the people who don't watch the animated stuff and think that okay, we're stuck on the animated so we have to watch the animated stuff to enjoy this stuff, which is some bull crap.
Right.
Those people I sort of feel sorry for because they're not taking the whole of Star Wars in and everything. But you can't force everybody to do everything. So it's a choice if you don't want to watch the animated stuff. That's totally up to you. But
speaking of forcing people to do things, Derpy has said that the whole season has felt like that scene from A Clockwork Orange where the main character is being tortured but reprogrammed and forced to watch something just in a way it feels like that. So very, very funny. Yes, it seems like they're trying to push the story in a certain direction, right? And
I mean, I think there's two more. What am I mistaken that this is the Bo-Katan show now? Well,
I don't know, Derpy, because like for me, you have to pay off this Darksaber stuff. I feel like you have to pay it off one way or another, and it can't be Din because it's supposed to be Bo-Katan, and that's just how it is. It's supposed to be her. It should have been her from the beginning, and until the Darksaber's put in the right hands, the Mandalorians are going to be disparate, right? Now that it is in her hands, we can move forward. And look, Din has a job for like the next 50 years, and that's raising Grogu, because Grogu's going to be a kid for like 50 years. It's like when you get a tortoise as a pet and it lives to be 180 and you die and like lives 120 more years. That's exactly what it'll be like. So I think we're in good shape there.
So the Clockwork Orange reference, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty heavy. So Stanley Kubrick had a certain idea of what things were going to look like in the future. And we are dealing with the future here, right? We are dealing with a broken society.
Ken Stradamus predicts. Ken Stradamus, put it up.
Yes. So we're dealing with broken society, broken politics. And what did Bo-Katan say? Politics. When talking to, Hellgate, Commander Hellgate, the whole thing was broken politics. He's a separatist, but not really a separatist. He's a Dooku follower.
Right.
He's a Dooku truther.
Yeah, and so yes, I see where you might find some connections between A Clockwork Orange and a broken society with absolutely no government. I mean, we're talking anarchy. We're talking a society where you can do whatever you want. You can fight, you can rape, you can kill whenever you want. And no one's really going to do anything about it, but they will put you through a reconditioning program of some sort. And is that the amnesty program? Is that the Republic amnesty program that maybe Derby's talking about?
Potentially. I mean, there's two other comments he made about you're right, but Mando this entire season has been a side character, and we've kind of touched on that. The name Mandalorian, I think when we came into this, we all thought this was just going to be Din. So the fact that it's named and dubbed the Mandalorian opens the whole universe up for all Mandalorians.
It is a can of worms because you do have stories that can go in all different directions. Right. And what do you get when you open a can of worms?
Correct.
Stories go in all different directions.
Yeah, and then as far as your final point about saying there are some things that are canon that shouldn't be, I mean, it's just one of those things, right? We talk about it. I think we argue about it more times than not in other shows. It just seems like it's we're never going to be pleased, right? Because
Yeah.
my canon compared to Hitch's, compared to DP's, compared to what Ken thinks, it's all going to be different. And obviously, we can go from Legends, we can go comic book. Um, as far as you're saying on the writing part, I get it, right? But it's one of those things. It's never going to be perfect. I would sit there and say, like, I wish I was Filoni and I could write out the perfect story. Is it cheap in some ways? Yeah, but I guess my overall arching thought as we get into the back half of this season, right? And we discuss it all the time, is it looks like that, and I've read it that Favreau has written this season of Mandalorian. And he's actually writing for Filoni's part of it, and they work as a team. But this is really Favreau's project for this last two seasons. I will say that there will be big eyes on Ahsoka because Filoni has heavily worked on the Ahsoka project. That has been Filoni's baby for the last year and a half. So I think that much like we had that big kind of epiphany when we saw as far as how good Andor was, I think that's what Ahsoka is going to be. I mean, this is going to be your kind of samurai. This is going to be the heart of Star Wars. I feel like when you really want to see.
So at the end of Ahsoka, they're going to suggest I watch Andor again.
It's crazy, Ken. When I
wait, don't call me crazy because I've been around this stuff for a long time, like since '77. Like I'm the oldest person here, right? I think.
Ooh, I think so.
And
you also have 100% of the heads of hair. So let's not. So let's not. Let's not discriminate.
So that Star Wars would be something that they could like mess up in my eyes. It would have to be pretty bad. Like there'd have to be.
It's nowhere near like mess up because I mean we keep coming back to this thing, right?
Right.
Yes. If it was like, at that point, I mean, it's so much. The universe is so vast with the books, the games,
right.
The animated stuff, the live action stuff. To when they eventually start coming out with movies, I don't think this is a train that you can drive into like the ground and wreck and everything because it's just too much stuff.
And they're doing such a good job right now of bringing everything back. I mean, they're connecting things. They're calling out, they're pandering, they're doing things that the fans really want. And goodness gracious, that's all I want. I just want to see I want to see RA7 droids. I want to see Death Star protocol droids just like hanging out, addressing you as you get off a shuttle. That is a monorail to Tomorrowland, which also could take you to Tron Light Cycle Run. See, I'm like advertising for Disney. Like, you should go on this ride. It's really cool.
We're all advertising for Disney.
It's 40 seconds, right? This is free prop for Disney.
Disney's advertising their theme parks. They're advertising their own stories.
Right.
And I think we're going to see. I think Ahsoka is going to be a fulcrum on which, like, the next 5 years of Star Wars is going to turn, because I really believe we're going to get a big reset out of Star Wars, or we're going to be jumping forward in time, and we're going to see what's going on with the Mandalorians when she comes back. So it'll be like 5 more years down the line or something crazy like that. So I'm very excited for Ahsoka.
And I loved the last 30 seconds of the episode because she brought everyone together. She said, "We're stronger together than apart."
Right.
She didn't want to kill Axe. She didn't want to defeat him. She wanted to use him as a tool to bring the tribes together. And that's old school. That's like,
at the end of the day, that's what they wanted. Another thing I've noticed too that I don't think that, or maybe that they're just foreshadowing a bit. Bo-Katan and Grogu have chemistry.
Yeah,
some good chemistry. Even more so to me than Din and Grogu. To a degree.
But she's got an unfair advantage because we can see her face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, she's actually definitely a human being, or definitely like a sentient character, instead of one of these juiced up robots all hopped up on fake.
But she's rough. She's rough. She will not back down.
She's a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Perhaps she is the Mandalorian.
Oh, maybe she is the Mandalorian, and Din is just a bystander.
He's just a Mandalorian. You know,
He's
think
a
about it like
Mandalorian.
a Mandalorian.
it's like mommy.
Ah.
It's like
So this
mommy,
whole-
daddy,
this
baby.
whole-
But
So,
mommy has the
are you
better job.
saying we're gonna see a white wedding? Like, are we gonna see a?
I don't want them to actually fall in love. I just want them to be forced to raise this eternal baby together. You know,
Well,
in a form of purgatory
that doesn't
forever and
work.
ever.
You ever watch Cops? That doesn't work. Nowhere does like these. That doesn't work. They have to commit or don't, because I mean, Grogu deserves it, right? He deserves a stable household.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
Especially
they
after all
have
the
a-
trauma he's been through. I mean, he's had it rough. He's had it rough. He's only 50 years old, and he's already been through the upheaval of, the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War. He's been kidnapped by Ahmed Best. I mean, my goodness gracious.
And who's that? Jar Jar. No,
I know. I skipped that episode, guys, but I have nothing against Mr. Best. I wish nothing but good things for them.
You better send him a card.
But I don't care for Jar Jar Binks. My opinion
But I
of Jar Jar
love you.
Binks remains unchanged, and you will not slander me by making it seem as if I do not have enmity for Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, that's fine. Write that down. Send it to him. It'll cost you 62 cents.
Not if I bought the stamp 5 years ago.
You know what's funny
Doc
though
Brown
about
can
this?
help you with that.
You know what's funny about this whole, the Mandalorians coming together now? So where the hell do you park this giant Star Destroyer on Navarro, right? Like, you see this thing in the sky, like, because that's hers
Where do
now.
you park it? Yeah.
Like, for real, where
Just
do you
imagine Grief trying to play it off like he's already built the space, like the spaceport for it. He's like, oh, it's over here. Come on, over here. Yeah, we'll just put it down right there. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
And that's interesting. Yeah, because what's that about? Because he seems to think he has everything figured out. So the last two episodes, are they together or are they separate? Do we have 2 weeks or just one?
I was unaware that it was
I
didn't see that it was combined.
Yeah,
I'll put that.
Well, Kathleen's texting me right now.
You and your sources.
Yeah.
She's like, well, would it be better if I did it at the same time or spread it out over 2 weeks? I'm like, same
Hey, I
time.
heard down the go.
No, it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Episode
So
7 to 12 and the final one would be episode 8 on the 19th.
I heard Donald Glover's coming back as Lando.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. He said he wants to do it.
That's sick.
Yeah. So however that's gonna happen, he said he's ready.
Because he was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
his appraisal of Lando in Solo was top notch.
Well, that brings them to the forefront of this current timeline, though, right? It just opens up all these characters.
Where's Lando at? Where his version of Lando? Where's that in his timeline? Like in the man.
Well, his version of Lando is like Bad Batch era almost. It's a little after that by like a couple of years. So it's older, but it's been a while, and you can just make him look like put makeup on him.
Right.
Time in this whole thing is like Jello. It doesn't matter. You can push it one way or another.
Oh my goodness. Ken, are we back to this?
Yes, because we're back to that because it doesn't really compute. There's no specific, like a year is not a year. It's like a year is like a week.
I have too many of these now, Ken, for you that it takes me forever to find it. So I think it's killing the joke, but
whatever.
Sorry, Ken. This is on me. I need to have these all. I need to have these all together.
See, there's no time. There is no time, and we're out of time.
Oh my goodness.
We are out of time. We got to go back to the future.
Right. But no, I mean, as we discussed, I mean, this was another jam-packed episode, right? And it just seemed like it was great, but I mean, this is my final hot take, and I know we talked about this. As bad as this may seem to people, and as horrible the sequel trilogy is, when I really deep this, and we talk about Star Wars loving it, right? The 7, 8, 9 are no way near as bad as half of DC's projects. Like I'm gonna be honest.
just,
I'm gonna be
just,
honest, right?
just to slam on DC in the middle of the show.
I know, right, man. Shout out to all the DC.
DC's just walking down the
We're
street.
sorry.
and
We're
David just
sorry.
looks
Any
over there like,
Justice
"Hey."
League fans, we're sorry. We're just
Any Zack Snyder fans and everything,
yeah, we're just talking about Star Wars
Sorry
here.
for the side punch right there,
It was. This was a haymaker because like I was thinking about like
out of nowhere.
when we were talking about the worst Star Wars, like in 1984, I watch Episode 8 all day over Wonder Woman 1984. I just watched.
Oh, hey, that's not a rewatchable movie.
I still feel like Episode 8 is better than its parts. Like it's better than the sum of its parts. I feel like there's a universe where they make the Episode 9, Episode 8
why are we
bags,
talking about that
and it
crap?
works. Because T Mitch brought it up. just like why we're talking about everything on this show.
To like actual Star Wars instead of
This
like
is actual Star Wars. I'm you know what I'm doing? I'm boosting the ratings for 7, 8, 9. I'm trying to give you credit. I'm saying they're not that, when I think about crap and then I bash them, they're really not as bad as
the soldier that came up and brought Lizzo the sword to Knight Grogu. I thought, man, is that Finn? He had half stormtrooper armor on, right? Like, wait, what was that character about? I mean, he looked like a stormtrooper.
Look at the hits. Yeah, I have no idea about that.
It's a weird question.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just, since
I watched that like 45 minutes ago, man. I've only seen it once. Like, I don't. You want me to investigate every single?
Well, you gotta watch it right now.
I mean, Ken has watched it 3 or 4 times since like
5 times today.
Every time we do this show, I feel like I have a bachelor's degree in the episode, and Ken has a doctorate. So
and at the dinner table, they're all drinking what? What the hell are they drinking?
Yeah, they were all like,
and there's some
like
that
was hookah. They were smoking hookah from like.
It looked like they were doing a pot vape, and they all had one. Like
they had like that hookah thing set up from whatever the hell they were like. I don't want to say it on the stream, but whatever they were extracting the hookah from, or whatever it was, it was kind of. It was different. It was fun.
Going over to
a little loop now, right?
Going over to Jack Black and Lizzo's to hit their 50 foot long table hookah, and then the watch Lizzo's dress have a holographic bustle.
And now I have to find that for my wife. I have to buy one of those somehow so she can have that floating behind her.
Do y'all think that the plot to keep the helmet off Bo-Katan's face, off her head, was a bunch of bull crap?
No.
What do you mean? Like did you want her to have the helmet on?
No, I just think that they just had to manufacture a reason for her to keep her helmet off.
Well, no, but she always had it off for the most part in her sect.
Yeah. But she said it was whole "this is the way" thing and everything, which I thought that was a little bit okay. All right, so she's now going to keep her helmet on. Yeah, right.
Now she doesn't have to. I'm not a Catholic person, but I've been to Catholic church before, and it's you don't when you're there, you just do whatever they're doing. Right? They say stand up, you stand up.
Yeah, do what the Romans do. Okay, all right.
Yeah, she can do whatever benefits her. If the helmet should be protection.
The plot benefited her, definitely.
She's like, you are Bo-Katan. You can eat fish on Fridays all you want.
Bo-Katan Kryze, always with that last name. That's very important.
Well, her family's royalty. Important. That's why she's literally she's the highest rank of any Mandalorian.
Yes, because of her last name, because of her,
Right.
her
And
family. Right?
Timmy, I love it that you just come, to the Candace defense and explain, why and everything. That's classic. Okay,
Somebody has to, right? Somebody has to.
I guess.
Well, I mean,
Why
did
did he
you? Would,
defend
Came
himself?
to the
He's a
plot
grown
twist.
man.
I mean, but no, I get it. The thing is, I want to see a payoff with the armorer. Like,
I want to
something
see
has
a
to
mythosaur the
happen.
last episode. That's what I want to see.
I think the armorer is going to remove her helmet at some point. You're going to see her. It's
Yeah,
just something's
Once
going to
they're back
happen.
on Mandalore and they can go in the waters whenever they want, it's almost like, what's the point?
right.
Like, it's not a test of endurance anymore. It's just,
Right.
on Sunday we put on our suit and we go to church and we do our bath, which again, there is obviously baptism in the Christian faith has this bathing component to it. And then we can do whatever we want. And we're washed clean and we're free of sin, which is
Hey,
pretty much the deal with baptism.
Paz Vizsla had to have his son somehow, somehow, some way, that had to be, his son had to be created some way. So whether they took helmets off, during the process, we don't know. They kept them on. Ken says no, they kept them on. So
They were listening to that. They were listening to that. You can leave your hat on song the whole time.
Because that's not you don't need.
That's not the way, Ken. That's not the way.
That is not the way. What a way to end this week's show.
Oh man.
What a cliffhanger, DP.
Paz
Vizsla.
Thank you.
Paz Vizsla's reproduction.
And Rhaegar.
Right.
Little Rhaegar.
What is the way? That should be the question. What is the way?
Oh yeah.
Little Rhaegar's gonna grow up, and Grogu's gonna be almost the same size the entire time, just whooping his ass the whole time as he gets bigger and bigger and more capable. And Grogu's just using the Force and whooping his ass.
Maybe they get higher powered paintball guns.
Grogu doesn't take kindly to other human beings, but as soon as you he's right at him.
If you're Lizzo, you have that.
Yeah, you date. Hey, you have it.
You just go.
But yeah, guys. So now another fun episode as we wind up, and now there are two more left. Two more left of this, and then we lead into, as we talked about, Skeleton Crew this year, Acolyte some point. I mean, Ahsoka. There's a lot, and obviously with
Star Wars celebration this weekend, right?
May the 4th coming up, celebrations in Europe. I don't know when it is, to be honest. I know it's soon, but they're hosting it in Europe. It is?
Yeah.
So
we should be
Aren't we all meeting there?
Hey, we can Zoom from there, or
yeah, this weekend, right?
We're doing that right now.
Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be a lot, that we'll probably react to, on that as well. So I'm sure they'll drop some stuff for us, and then they'll hold half of it for obviously the May the 4th, which is basically a merchandise drop for all of us. So
it's the Valentine's Day of Star Wars holidays.
It is, right? Yeah. Ken will have his credit card ready
to make money.
Basically, yeah. Ken will be buying all the
I melted that damn thing already.
Yeah. Oh, credit card, right? But yeah, guys, and another great episode. And until next week, guys, once again, this is the way.
This is the way.